ladies and gentlemen, this is what I'm going to say. They're going to do everything they can because they write the laws to favor them. In no way, shape, or form, and I'm not going to give them a freebie. They're going to say, oh, I'm obstructing justice. No, I'm not. I'm under advice of counsel. So all of you goons out there, if you want to write an indictment and accuse me of obstruction of justice, I have a team of attorneys that love for you to just walk right into our lion's den. I dare you. I'm under advice of counsel. If you are perpetrating crimes and you're operating, if you're handing a bag of cash to a heroin addict and you want to call that justice, we'll gladly take that charge. As a matter of fact, I'll turn myself in. Call me and say, Pete Santilli, you need to turn yourself in for obstructing the justice we were trying to serve by feeding $1,000 to a heroin addict in Springfield. Please, I will gladly report for duty, okay? I'm under advice of counsel. I've been working on this for over 10 years. I am a law enforcer, and the justice that you claim to have the exclusive rights to, you don't, okay? I'm amplifying justice, and your attempts to stop me is obstruction. Any law enforcement official, any federal agent that questions what we're doing here, can't give you the exact details. Don't go by me. I will put you in touch with proper legal authority, credible, retired, senior special agents with the highest level of integrity, attorneys, and federal agents that have testified to everything I'm describing. That a lot of you are being used, and they think of you as useful idiots, okay? And if you want me to give you something to Google, no, I can have you Google. If you need access to discovery that's under a protective order, I'll put you in touch with the Weaponization Committee. We'll do that. If you need that to justify and say, I'm going after bad guys here, and Pete Santilli's telling me that everything I'm being fed is all a lie, because it is. So this is what it leads to. You ready? The assassination attempt, okay? You'll notice the narrative. Do they plan to succeed? Oh, my goodness, they're probably trying to. They really suck at assassinations. But what is their biggest operation that's going on right now? Is that when an assassination attempt takes place, they make the false accusation that President Trump is inciting illegal activity. That's a criminal act for President Trump to incite people to commit crimes is actually a criminal allegation. And that's what they need. And that's why they set the stage, like calling in bomb threats, right? Do they want to solve the crime of calling in bomb threats? No, obviously, because they could find anybody that makes a telephone call and calls. If I called right now and called in a bomb threat to Springfield, how quickly do you think they would find me? 5 minutes. 10 minutes. They could literally roll somebody, bust my door down. Notice how they're not doing that. There's nobody, and they'll say, well, it's under investigation. Really? Let's see how transparent you are. The reason why you don't talk about it publicly is so that you can scrub everything. They're not looking for seeking the arrest of the bomb threat person. They're looking for the crime that they want, and that is President Trump inciting it. That crime, because that's called election interference. And I'm going to throw back to Deb. Deb, the pictures that I have that I'm going to display, I'm going to go overtime after we officially, cut off our 3-hour show. I'm going to go into overtime. I have to a little bit because, I'm going to play some videos. Right now, the election interference is so prevalent that the only way that you can express your political First Amendment rights is if you put out a Harris sign. Because their political opponents, the only ones that would go attack somebody that has a Harris sign out in front of their house is working for the FBI. The next door neighbor doesn't care if you got a Harris sign out. There were a couple places where there's courageous enough people right now that'll put out a Trump sign. Right, it's mixed right now. You could literally go talk to people. They only scream at the guy next door. You're an idiot if you're putting a Harris sign out. You're dumb. People are in fear of their lives for putting out Trump paraphernalia. I would say right now the biggest need that Vivek Ramaswamy needs to contend with, bring Trump signs. And let's provide protection to those people that put up Trump paraphernalia because they're petrified. The only people that are allowed to display signage is Harris. That's it. Everybody else, if they put out Trump paraphernalia, you get your house burned down. You're a target. You're a racist. They can literally activate the Haitians to go burn their house down because they're identified as a racist because you're part of Trump. And you have the media helping to facilitate that. They're making criminal allegations against Vance and criminal allegations against President Trump for inciting bomb threats. Can you imagine that? They did that to me, folks. They said that I broadcast lies to recruit gunmen. And I'm like, really? No, I didn't. They said that I broadcast Chris Briles, who caught the FBI surveilling the armory. They indicted me saying I co-conspired with protesters and that I was doing that as an anti-government person. And it was so the opposite. I was working with government officials locally to expose the FBI. And we did. And what happened? Loretta Lynch and James Comey had me in shackles. Deb, the assassination attempt is bad. Mm-hmm. But to say that President Trump, why did they do that? Is it to attack him? Or am I right that what they're looking for is the illegal act of inciting?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what they're setting up here.
Right.
On MSNBC this morning.
Can you go on camera solo for a second so I can just get a drink of water and not look like Marco Rubio?
Oh, you're funny.
What does he do? He does this. Right.
Trump does that too, by the way.
I don't know why they do that.
I don't know either. It's weird. Because they're not used to drinking water like that.
Can you please get me off camera so I can drink? Thanks.
All right. So on Morning Joe, also this morning, they went into, of course, the tirade about Trump. Basically, they are giving every whack job on the left and on the right, the Never Trumpers, permission to assassinate Donald J. Trump. They're giving them every excuse they need and telling them, that Donald Trump is bringing this on himself. He's a bad guy. Instead of condemning it, they're almost to the point now, and many of them have already crossed that line, by the way, but I'm talking about MSNBC in particular. This morning, they were going on and on about Trump deserving being shot at and being assassinated, because he's running a campaign and he's speaking his mind and he is giving his side of the story. I've never seen in the United States of America where a news outlet is actually condoning the acts of a would-be assassin and blaming it on the person that they're trying to assassinate. I've never seen it before. So, just watching it infuriated me. I was like, how can these people be responsible and and put out rhetoric like that and then condemn Trump for defending himself against the rhetoric. Everything he says now is rhetoric, right? Hateful, violent, bringing it on himself. And I'm like, oh my God, when Trump, sooner or later, somebody is going to succeed. And Pete and I were talking about this yesterday when the assassination attempt was made. I said, my gosh, I mean, if he becomes president, they're still going to try to take him out. It's not going to stop, right? This assassination, especially since they're glorifying it now and saying that Trump deserves it. So, what happens if he does become the president of the United States? Is he going to be able to function as the president under a threat of death continuously every single day? And anybody who's been president or high profile of anything will tell you death threats are not unusual, right? We've had them. We've had plenty of them. And so is Trump going to be able to function as the president under that kind of pressure? And they're putting a ton of pressure on society right now. I listened to Will Johnson this morning, Pete, and you did too, right? Or I think it was last night, the message that he put out there, which I think kind of hits the target. If you want to play that, it hits the target and of what is really happening and what they are causing. If you guys would have listened to MSNBC, CNN, all of this, it's like, yeah, well, he deserves it. And I got to tell you, on social media, they're saying exactly the same thing on the left, that, he deserves to be assassinated because of the way he speaks. Because of the way he speaks. And you just sit there and you listen to that and you're just like going, oh my gosh, how big of a problem would it be for them to take you out as an American citizen because they don't like the way you speak?
In 1776, the founders of this nation gave us something that had never existed before: a government by the people. We've had our ups and downs, learned and grew, and bled for freedom. Over time, we, the people, became distracted by the success that our hard-fought freedoms brought us, and bad people saw an opportunity. As we traded our birthright for cheap entertainment, our rights, our voice, and our power has been whittled away. Until now. Introducing Republic, an entirely new kind of social media. Republic focuses on local, giving activists, organizations, candidates, and small businesses the power to inform, organize, and act, all in a single place, enabling you to be the local hero your community desperately needs. No more covering up the truth. No more advertising-funded news. No more data mining. This is how we rebuild, rekindle, and restore our republic.
My fellow American patriots, I'm Colonel Douglas McGregor. By now, we should all know that as a talk show host, Pete Santilli has been fighting to defend our constitutional republic for over 13 years. As a U.S. Marine whose oath never expires, he's now calling upon you to do your part, to inform your community and step up as an American hero to help save our republic from being overtaken by communism. Join today and save 33% off your membership. Join now. Visit republic.us/Santilli. That's republic.us/Santilli.